Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today I have to tell you once again why TikTok sucks. Now, this is coming out of Europe, but I promise you, this applies to other countries as well, including the United States. Now, this is coming from the Hacker News, where I'm cribbing these notes, and here's what's going on. TikTok is revising its privacy policy for European users to make it explicitly clear that their user data can be accessed by some employees from across the world, including China, the largest surveillance state on the planet. Now, the ByteDance-owned platform, which currently stores European user data in the United States and Singapore, said the revision is part of an ongoing data governance effort to limit employee access to users in the region, minimize data flows outside of it, and store information locally, even though they can access it from around the world. That flies in that face. Now, the privacy policy update applies to users located in the UK, the European Economic Area, or EEA, and Switzerland, and goes into effect on December 2nd of this year, according to The Guardian. Now, the company said, and I quote, based on a demonstrated need to do their jobs subject to a series of robust security controls and approval protocols, and by way of methods that are recognized under the GDPR, we will allow certain employees within our corporate group located in Brazil, Canada, China, Israel, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, and the United States remote access to TikTok European user data. Now, TikTok further said its security controls consist of system access restrictions, encryptions, and network security, adding it doesn't collect precise location information from its users in Europe. Now, this is interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the development also takes place against mounting regulatory scrutiny that I have talked about consistently with TikTok on both sides of the Atlantic, which has over 1 billion monthly active users. ByteDance, out of Beijing, the parent company of TikTok, as I mentioned, has repeatedly denied it is controlled by the Chinese government, which I, quite frankly, in my opinion, is a complete lie. Now, in July of this year, basically, they put a hold on a controversial privacy policy update in Europe that could have allowed it to serve targeted ads based on users' activity on TikTok without their explicit consent. That flies in the face of basically the European Union's GDPR, which quite frankly we need here in the United States. On top of this, in the United States, basically Brendan Carr, who is a Republican member of the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, called for a ban of TikTok over national security concerns that user data could be accessed by Chinese authorities. I 100% agree with Mr. Carr. He is doing the cyber lord's work here with this platform. And on top of that, did a video on this as well and podcast. Last month, the company contested a report from Forbes. Full disclosure, I also publish on Forbes on occasion, that a China-based team at ByteDance planned to use the platform to track the locations of select U.S. citizens without their knowledge or permission. And if they are going to do that here, why not do it in Europe as well? The European Union, UK, Switzerland, all of that as well. And this is the problem that we have. They can say, oh, we have access controls, access restrictions, but they're formally admitting, finally, what we knew from whistleblowers, and I did a video on podcast on that as well, that whistleblowers basically have access, meaning US-based TikTok employees had to get permissions from basically management in China. That management in China had access basically here to give permissions to US users, meaning US employees of TikTok said, hey, I need access to this. They had to go to China to request access to US resources. That is a huge problem. And so they can have encryption, they can have all of these things, but when you own the keys to the encryption, you can unlock it. When basically a foreign government that is known for authoritarianism and surveillance basically runs the access restrictions, you've got a big problem. ByteDance, formerly ByteDance Beijing, has had very deep ties to the Chinese government for years. This is not unusual because most Chinese companies basically have to be in bed with the Chinese government to do work. And in a 2017 law that I've talked about over and over and over in China, if you have information on foreign citizens, aka all you EU citizens, Americans, Canadians, South Africans, take your pick, Australians, etc., the Chinese government gets access to that. And if they were planning, according to Forbes, to basically surveil specific US members, politicians, journalists, God knows who, why wouldn't they do that to the new King of England or the Chancellor of Germany or the President of France or anybody else that they deemed important to surveil? This is a surveillance app first, a stupid video app second. Drill that into your head, drill that into everybody's head. Nobody should be using this platform. It is awful, and you can't say once again that you haven't been told. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, which will data mine you, but we have recourse under law, unlike TikTok out of China. Same with YouTube, where you can subscribe, and please hit that bell. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private, which you will be more so of if you're never on TikTok. Thanks, everybody.